I've been talking about the Seven Mountains mandates and the manifest destiny and how it ties to the Heritage Foundation, Christian nationalism, and how the ideology, the concepts of the Seven Mountains Mandate has been woven into our politics. This happening to Jimmy Kimmel after what happened to Stephen Colbert is proof that we are a fascistic society. We are in a dictatorship. We are being led by an autocratic regime. In addition to that, this right here is tied to the Seven Mountains Mandate, Manifest Destiny, Project 2025. This right here is tied to all of it. July 2024, I did a live video talking about an article put out by ProPublica that talked about the Seven Mountains Mandate and a secret group called Zicklag. I did a live and I did a follow-up video regarding what we discussed in the live. I did this a year ago, July 2024. I will link those videos some way, somehow. A lot of people have seen the reasons why that they have let Jimmy Kimmel go. But it goes deeper than just because Jimmy Kimmel was insulting the memory of Charlie Kirk or insulting Donald Trump. All of that is a part of it. When you look at what Jimmy Kimmel actually said, he wasn't insulting Charlie Kirk or his memory. His joke was making fun of Donald Trump and how Donald Trump was responding to Charlie Kirk's memory. But it goes deeper than that.
Nexstar already owns lots of TV stations. It wants to merge with Tegna, which owns lots of other stations. In order to do that, it needs Brendan Carr, the SEC chair's permission, and it actually needs the SEC to change the regulations entirely about how many stations an individual company can own. So Nexstar has all of this pending business before the government. Tegna also does, and there's another big station owner called Sinclair that also has business pending before the government. So what do we know tonight? We know that both Nexstar and Sinclair called up ABC this afternoon, complained about Kimmel, and said they were yanking the show off their stations. ABC subsequently yanked the show nationwide. So we know that two major TV station owners, both of which need to curry favor with the Trump administration, were the ones that most loudly and vocally condemned Kimmel and said they were going to not air the show tonight and in the coming nights. It's an Occam's razor situation. It's exactly what it looks like.
This little snippet was included in an article. I got it from over there on Midas Touch. Sinclair is going a step further. Sinclair will not lift the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live on our stations until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. Sinclair also calls upon Mr. Kimmel to issue a direct apology to the Kirk family. Furthermore, we asked Mr. Kimmel to make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA. So not only did Sinclair assist in the firing of Jimmy Kimmel, they want to dig that knife just a little bit deeper and publicly call for Jimmy Kimmel to apologize and to make monetary donations to Turning Point USA and to the Kirk family. That is some evil shit, because they know that Jimmy Kimmel said nothing wrong. They know that Jimmy Kimmel did not attack the memory of Charlie Kirk. They know Jimmy Kimmel was talking shit about Donald Trump, but yet they're calling for Jimmy Kimmel to monetarily make donations to Charlie Kirk, a well-known white supremacist racist who attacked marginalized communities for a living. They want Jimmy Kimmel, who did nothing wrong, to make monetary donations to the family and to Charlie Kirk's organization. That's some evil shit. Adam Cochran tweeted, "Let's make sure everyone understands the facts with Kimmel. As the right is trying to paint this as at-will termination, Nexstar, the parent company of Kimmel's show, is seeking FCC approval for a merger. Kimmel made comments about Trump on Monday night, months after Trump openly said he wanted to get Kimmel fired. Reporting is that Trump had the FCC lean on Nexstar over these comments. Apparently, they expressly used the line, 'We can do this the easy way or the hard way.'" It goes on. Multiple executives at the network have on background said that they had no issue with Kimmel's statements, but the Trump threat loomed, referring to the merger. This was not a network dissatisfied with Kimmel's situation. This was not a network embarrassed or horrified by what Kimmel said. This was not a network that thought he was unfunny or underperforming. This was not a company freely choosing to fire an employee. This was expressly the federal government weaponizing federal departments in retribution for someone being critical of the president. The tweet goes on to and ends with this. This is literally what the First Amendment exists for. It does not protect you from private actions by private entities. It protects you from actions by the government to censor your speech, whether brazen and direct or through coercion and threat. This is not about if Kimmel was offensive or not. This is about speech. And if you know about the Seven Mountains Mandate and Project 2025, then you know going after freedom of speech is part of the plan. And part of the fascistic plan is always to get rid of the comedians first. Stephen Colbert is gone. Now Jimmy Kimmel is gone. And it's not going to stop there. Donald Trump made that clear. Ron Filipkowski posted this post from Donald Trump. Donald Trump is now calling for the firing of Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. Here's what Donald Trump put in his post. "Great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC, President DJT." So now he's calling for the firing of Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon. Variety is reporting that Jimmy Kimmel Live will be replaced on Friday by a Charlie Kirk tribute special on Sinclair's ABC affiliate stations. Do I have to say it? Turn the fucking TV off. Variety goes on to say, the company is demanding Kimmel apologize to Kirk's family and send a meaningful personal donation to them and Turning Point USA, the organization Kirk founded that advocates for conservative politics in high schools and colleges. Advocates by way of hate speech and the demonization of marginalized communities. Variety goes on to report, quote, "Mr. Kimmel's remarks were inappropriate and deeply insensitive at a critical moment for our country," end quote. Sinclair's vice president, Jason Smith, said in a statement, quote, "We believe broadcasters have a responsibility to educate and elevate respectful, constructive dialogue in our communities. We appreciate FCC Chairman Carr's remarks today, and this incident highlights the critical need for the FCC to take immediate regulatory action to address control held over local broadcasters by the big national networks," end quote. This is all going according to plan. I just want y'all to know that. This has been in the works for 30 plus years. 30 plus years. And uneducated people in this society stepped right in line to give them the power to suppress your voices. And black women tried to tell you, because black women have been watching it. Black women have been paying attention. Black women have been doing the reading and the research. Black women understood what the plan was. But we were told we were fear-mongering. And here we are. Here we are. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue to move forward. Who's stopping them? Who's stopping them? They have, for the last 30 years, they have put all of the people in place so that no one can stop them. And the last stop was voting to make sure their pawn didn't get into the White House. 90 million people sat out. 90 million people sat out. Sat out to give them the power. And it's not going to stop here. Like I said, I did that live and I did that follow-up video. I'll include that video in this video. The live, I will post separately so y'all can check it out. Y'all better educate yourselves. Knowledge is power. Because the more you know, it is your ammunition. It is your energy, your power to fight back. I just did a live. We were on live for a good hour and 45 minutes talking about this article. If you missed the live, I will be downloading the live and re-uploading it over onto the application that looks like a red Play Store button. This article was done by ProPublica. It's an investigative report into this organization called Zicklag. It's a secret organization that has about 125 members, and those members are top millionaires. To be a part of this organization, you have to have a bank account balance of $25 million. You also have to show proof that you are participating in or are contributing to Christian causes and politics. The people who are a part of this organization are the owners of Hobby Lobby, the owners of Uline. And what they do is they fund other organizations that lobby politicians. Zicklag has ties to Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, that's heavily tied to Donald Trump and Republicans. And I'm pretty sure this article didn't specifically specify this. Just my opinion, just a thought. I'm running with common sense. This organization probably has ties to the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society, and other people out there that are heavily tied to Republicans. Candace Owens, now Amber Rose, and other organizations like the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro, Nick Fuentes. Why? Because the messaging And the goals of this organization matches those of these individuals. I'm pretty sure they give campaign donations to Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and Lindsey Graham and Lauren Boebert. Why? Because they are all on the same message. And for those of you asking, yes, Zicklag is a tax-exempt organization, 501c3. Their tax ID number is 562238590 for those of you who are going to want to fill out Form 13909. However, this particular article, I encourage every one of you to go out and read it. You can put in the Google search ProPublica, ProPublica, and put in Zicklag. This article will come up. This article ties Zicklag to the Seven Mountains Mandate, and it goes into explaining what the Seven Mountains Mandate is, how Zicklag is funding individuals who are putting things into place according to the Seven Mountains Mandate. The Seven Mountains Mandate basically stems from the ideology that America is a Christian nation and Christians reign supreme over any other religion. And it typically has evolved from that. Every other religion, white Christian supremacy reigns over anybody else, and they will reign over anybody else who is not white and Christian violently if they have to. And all of that also stems from the manifest destiny ideology, where they believe America was promised to white Christian people, period. Each mountain, let me get my words correct here. Each mountain that make up the seven mountains of the Seven Mountain Mandate represents areas of all of our lives: education, religion, government, arts and entertainment, family, media, that includes news media, and business, that would be your corporations. And what organizations like Zicklag and the Heritage Foundation and all of the little people that they then fund to move their movement, what they want to do is they want to install these Christian nationalists at the top of each mandate. And they plan on restructuring and reworking those areas where it is Christian-led and Christian-dominated. For example, in this article, they talk about arts and entertainment, Hollywood. What they want is the top of that mountain to be led by a Christian nationalist, and then they will reshape and restructure Hollywood to provide news and entertainment that is biblical, and whatever movies or TV shows they come up with, it has to be biblical, Christian, and has to have morals throughout the storytelling. And then that same concept is shared across the other six mountains. Education, we've already seen what they're trying to do. They're trying to install that the 10 Commandments be front and center in schools across the country, right? So by doing that, they remove anything that they deem as evil, which is democratic, which is not white and Christian. They remove all of that. Critical race theory, woke ideology, African American history, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. That is what they're doing across all of the mandates. So when you're sitting at home and you feel like that you are being attacked from all sides, from Christian nationalists, from racist bigots, you are. This article that was put together by investigative journalists, they were able to get their hands on meeting notes, emails, videos, from Zicklag, which is a secret organization. It's not heavily talked about out there like the Heritage Foundation, like the Federalist Society. Not many people know about this. I didn't know about this. And so these investigative journalists got together, got all of that information, and put together this article which details what their plans are for 2024 and this presidential cycle, this political climate, this political climate that we're currently in, and how they are going to work through battleground states like Arizona and Georgia and Ohio, what they are planning to do to ensure that the majority of people that are put into office are Christian nationalists. And if that means suppressing voters, black voters, they will do that. We've talked about the Seven Mountains before on my previous pages. But I highly recommend everyone reading this article so you can have a clear understanding as to what organizations like Zicklag and the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, and then sub-organizations like Turning Point USA and the Daily Wire, each one of them has a different role. These churches have a role. Some churches takes on this role, another church will take on that role. They have been organizing for the past 30 years. So for those of you who have been woke and paying attention for the past 8 years and are mad and want to disengage because you not seeing anything change, these people have been working for 30 years to get to this point that we are at right now, and they don't plan on stopping. Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation, has already told us that we are in the second American Revolution. And they threatened us and said that it will be bloodless if we stand by and let them take over. Let them make this a Christian society where we are all subject to their rule. The first step to stopping them is being educated on what it is that they plan to do. Read this article.